12 News is your local election headquarters. We've been counting down, and we are now less than a half hour away from releasing the first results from our exclusive 12 News and Roger Williams University poll of Rhode Island Democratic primary voters.
And for a preview of some of the questions that poll will answer, we are joined once again by 12 News Politics editor Ted Nesi. So, Ted, you joined us at the top of the newscast. You had mentioned that in some ways this poll kind of represents the firing of the starting gun for the primary, but still, we're only 4 months away.
Yeah, there's not a lot of time left when you think about it, Brian and Kim. I talked to a lot of folks around Rhode Island politics, and there's a general sense this campaign's been slow to get going. Some people think it's due to general exhaustion from the pandemic and all the other dramatic events of the last 2 years, but that is starting to change. So let's take a look at the candidates in the Democratic primary for Rhode Island governor. The first thing everyone will be looking at in the poll is the number for the incumbent, Dan McKee. He's had the benefit of being in office for over a year, auditioning for voters. How many of them like what they see? Meanwhile, you see Secretary of State Nellie Gorbea on the bottom there. She says her internal polling shows she's ahead. Will our independent polling show the same? The other three candidates all hoping for a respectable showing. Former Secretary of State Matt Brown on the top line. He got over 30% of the vote against Gina Raimondo in 2018. How many of those folks are still with him now? Former CVS executive Helena Folks just started airing TV ads today. Where does she start, considering she's never run for office before? And can community activist Luis Daniel Munoz improve over the 2% he got running as an independent back in 2018? And we should remind folks that this is a Democratic primary poll, so only testing those 5 candidates for the first round in September. We'll see how the Democratic nominee then stacks up against the Republican frontrunner, either Ashley Kalis or another GOP candidate if she doesn't win the nomination once we do polling in the general election.
And then, Ted, of course, there's the race that nobody expected this year, the race to replace Congressman Jim Langevin, who is retiring.
Yeah, that's right, Kim. This one, no surprise, got a crowded field of Democrats in. Let's take a look. This was the field as of late last week. Now, since then, Michael Neary in the middle on the bottom has dropped out of the race. But among the other 6, there are really just 2 questions. General Treasurer Seth Magaziner on the top line there. He's the only one of these candidates who is well known already. So how many voters are already supporting him, and is it insurmountable for the others? And then for the other 5 candidates who are in this race, do any of them start with any measurable base of support, or are they all basically starting from scratch? You heard David Siegel earlier in this newscast allude to the fact that he expects to have room to grow in this poll. So I'd also be watching the undecided vote in both of these races, because the more people who say they haven't picked a candidate yet, the more room there is for movement between now and the primary on September 13th.
So often comes down to that number.
Absolutely.
The undecided folks.
Yep, they're waiting for someone to convince them.
All right. Busy day for you. We appreciate you joining us twice today at 4. As we said, the first results from our exclusive poll in the race for Rhode Island governor coming up on 12 News at 5, just about 25 minutes away from now.